Welcome to the Hudson Valley Strong Dads Podcast, your weekly dose of everything dads need to navigate fatherly relationships, their bodies, and spirits. This show is rated M for manly. And now, your host. He was once known for wearing Nike and Adidas at the same time. Currently in the race to be the next Dos Equis most interesting man alive, Lou Torres.
Coach Lou here from Hudson Valley Strong Dads Podcast. We've talked a lot about perception of the brain, what holds us back, kind of why men lose their fire, understanding what your true purpose is. And if you scroll back to some of the past episodes, I dive into some of the psychology behind all these things, right? All these things manifest themselves into the decisions that we make. Kind of scrolling back a bit, it all started with our parents being our first teachers. Unfortunately for some of us, we come from shaky grounds, uneven surfaces, a foundation that's kind of crooked, right? These things go along your whole life into what are called pattern stories and scripts, or pattern scripts and stories, right? So everybody, myself included, needs a model. And that model is buried deep in your subconscious, and it's buried deep that you don't even know what's happening, right? And if you really follow people, they kind of follow these things, this model, into these patterns, scripts, and stories. So the patterns are the kind of things that have been done, behaviors that are repeated by generation. If your dad's an alcoholic, you have the gene to be an alcoholic, you're probably going to be an alcoholic. Not probably, but you get what I'm saying. So people manifest these things or say these things. It's like, wow, he's just like his dad, or he's just like his mom. These behaviors carry on with us, right? And that's essentially our patterns. Our scripts are internal and unconscious dialogues that we kind of notoriously follow right along, right? Without even knowing about it. You kind of do the same things that your parents did, the same type of work, same interest, the same likes. I personally think there's a deeper coding mechanism with DNA that has to do with that. But this thing is all important to understand, right? And then the last thing is essentially the story, is the narratives we live by that help us understand the world. So the narratives that we live by that help us understand the world is classically your story, right? These things all form your life. And this is not understanding these things is why people tend to, men in general, or women also, fall into depression, feeling they've never done enough, they haven't accomplished anything, because they're focusing on the brighter objects that are the negatives, because the negatives always shine brighter than the positives, right? As opposed to focusing on gratitude, they're focusing on the things that make us feel good. They're focusing on the things that kind of aren't really positive or in their favor, right? So one of the things is a famous psychologist, I believe he was, an Italian guy in 1955, and I forget what I have it right here. It's just a triangle, right? Now I want you guys to look at this, in essence, and what do you see? You see the shapes, and you see a white triangle, right? That's not really there. There's no outside edges to it. There's no line depicting that. But you can clearly see it, and you clearly see it brighter than the rest of the objects, right? Now, what I want you to imagine is that same thing. Equate that to the negative moments in your life. All these things shine a little bit brighter, and these are the things that you're gonna remember, right? So just like listing down, even in my own life, listing down some things that that just in my business life, things that happened negatively, plays that I ran that didn't turn out. I have a whole list of like 2 pages. Now list out the pages, list out the things that did work. It's like half a page, but these half a page things were monumental and big in my life and implementation, right? So understand that there's a preset dialogue that we as humans follow, and know that you have to kind of go about your way to understand these concepts and understand these things. Because the more deeper understanding you have, the better father you could be to your children. The better husband you could be to your wife, boyfriend to your girlfriend, coach to your kids, coach to everybody else's kids in a sense. So these things raise your level up of let you shine brighter. All right, guys. So understand that we do all have patterns, scripts, and stories that we follow, and these things don't make it notoriously wrong. There's kind of underlying reasons why you do some of the things you do. You just have to be able to acknowledge them. Coach Lee here, guys. Till later.
Thanks for listening to the Hudson Valley Strong Dads Podcast, your weekly dose of everything dads need to navigate fatherly relationships, their bodies, and spirits. For more info, log on to www.hvdadspodcast.com.